Hello again, Gregg Bell of the News Tribune here at Lumen Field in Seattle. Let's talk about the two principles for the Seahawks in this loss, overtime loss to the Rams, fifth loss in 6 games for Seattle, 15 wins, 16 losses in the last 31 games on this home field that used to be the biggest home field advantage maybe in the NFL, certainly in the NFC. On offense, Geno Smith. After the game, he diverted a question about the game and just came right out and said, "I apologize to my teammates, to the fans of the Seahawks, and to the city of Seattle for my decision making today." The 3 interceptions, of course, taking full ownership for. He's particularly talking about throwing off his back foot here into this end zone early in the fourth quarter that the Rams Kitchens intercepted and ran 103 yards the other way for an interception return for a touchdown, the longest interception return in Rams' long history. Completely flipped the game, gave the Rams a 20-13 lead after Seattle had led 13-3 in the third quarter. It was that pass in particular that's really galling Smith. He said, "I have to be better. I will be better," taking full ownership. It was noticeable after the 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter. Kitchens got him for both. The second one in this end zone, near this end zone, when he was throwing for rookie tight end A.J. Barner. Barner got his arm held by an interior Rams defender, and it kept Barner from getting out into the flat. Went uncalled. Smith threw it to where Barner thought Barner was going to be, but Barner never got to it. Threw it right to Kitchens for another interception inside the 10-yard line. 2 interceptions by Smith inside the 10-yard line in the fourth quarter that doomed the Seahawks. Yet he still rallied them with Jackson Smith-Njigba, career day, 180 yards receiving, to the tying touchdown with 51 seconds left in this end zone. 4th and 5, a completion to Smith-Njigba, and then in this end zone to Smith-Njigba, who held on despite a brutal hit after he caught the pass in the end zone. I noticed after each of the 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, Smith made a point of being on the edge of the sideline, clapping, tapping Connor Williams as center. Jarran Reed came over to Smith and tapped him on the helmet. A much more positive aura than he did the previous week in the loss when he threw the interception on the screen pass. It was noticeable. The second interception, he briefly went to Barner. He briefly went to the bench in disbelief at what was happening and how that play went wrong. But then after a brief stint on the bench, he went back in to the edge of the sideline to cheer on his defense, who had 3 3-and-outs in the fourth quarter to keep the Seahawks in it and give Smith and Smith-Njigba a chance to tie the game late. The failed 4th down run, you saw it. 4th and 1, Coach Mike McDonald in overtime. Coach Mike McDonald from the 16-yard line said they weren't kicking it. They didn't want to give the ball back to Matthew Stafford when all the Rams had to do was score to either tie the game or a touchdown would have won the game and put it in sudden death. He wanted to go for the win there. A touchdown would have won the game, which is why they decided to go for it on 4th and 1. I don't fault the decision there. I do default the run call. I formation, reserve tight end, Brady Russell as the lead fullback on a power play to the left side behind left tackle Charles Cross. Laken Tomlinson and Cross got run over. There were 5 Rams in the backfield on that play, and Kenneth Walker had no chance. 7 sacks of the Rams made them worried about running a rollout pass or doing anything with Geno Smith dropping back to pass because the Rams had sacked him 7 times in all in the game. The bottom line is they don't have an offensive line that they can feel confident in doing any play call on 4th and 1. McDonald said after the game, half yard to go, we have to get that. 2 chances at a half yard, 3rd and 4th down, and they got stopped on both. He says, we have to get that. McDonald also said after the game, we have the right players to fix this. And they were going to get it done. But he says we have the right players. The guys that he again lauded their effort. I don't think he has the right players on the line of scrimmage. After the game, Reek Woolen on defense, a pivotal player in the game. Interception of Matthew Stafford on a brilliant play over his shoulder against Puka Nacua, the play that Nacua got ejected for throwing a punch at Tyrell Dotson during the interception return. Woolen kept the game ball from that interception, presumably. It was his 3rd one of his career in 5 career regular season games against the Rams. But Sean McVay targeted Woolen and really schemed against him and made his life miserable. Woolen was flying all over the field, sideline to sideline. It was obvious that McVay didn't want to throw at Witherspoon, but McVay and Stafford decided to target Woolen. And he got burned for the biggest plays in the game at the end. Of course, the overtime touchdown you saw And then the play early in overtime that Stafford threw right at him, Witherspoon stayed back in accepting receiving mode instead of going at the ball. That would have been an interception in Rams territory. The Seahawks would have already been in field goal range. The game would have been in sudden death mode, the overtime by then. Seahawks could have kicked the field goal and won the game if Witherspoon had closed on that ball. He stayed back. Johnson, the Rams receiver, jumped in front of him to catch the pass for a first down, and the Rams drive down and then throw over Woolen for the touchdown to Robinson, 39 yards to end the game halfway through overtime. So much for this team to fix. They've got a bye week, and then they go at the 49ers, who they haven't beaten 6 straight losses, and they haven't beaten in over 3 seasons. That's their next game, November 17th. Somebody asked Geno Smith, where are you going during the bye week? He said, I'm not going anywhere. I got work to do. I know what I have to do to fix it. I'm going to fix it. He put this all on himself. Coverage is at thenewstribune.com, on Twitter X at Gregg Bell Seattle as always. Thank you for watching. Lots for this team to fix at now 4-5.